Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are listening to this. Hello. It has been eons. I think it's been over a year since I've gone live by myself. And as I'm watching the clock count down 15, 14, 13, my heart rate goes faster and faster and faster. Because this is definitely something that gets me a little bit uncomfortable and it's been a year. I go live with phenomenal people. I go live with Karen Henson, who's a phenomenal broker. I go live with Charlotte Harrell, who's a phenomenal lender, and many, many other clients and friends and colleagues. We go live, and I love it, absolutely love it. And then I'm sitting here thinking, okay, my coach is encouraging me to do this alone, and it's been a year. So, yep. Hence why coaching is important, no matter what our speed is. So, what's going on with me? It's been a long time. So, let's see what's going on. Celebrating, maybe this is the catalyst for going live today. The catalyst is I'm celebrating 4 years of being an entrepreneur, a business owner, starting my own coaching company, and I think 4 years. Okay, corny as it sounds, the time has flown. However, I've also have a lot of bumps and bruises and some anxiety over marketing and all those kind of things that come with being a business owner. I coach business owners. So I live the life they live on a daily basis. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So celebrating high five, I left a very comfortable, safe corporate coaching gig in California, a very well-known coaching company, and I was there for many, many years, and it was very safe and comfortable. And it got to a point where, as in many corporate jobs, and I coach corporate people as well in the corporate world, I have leaders, senior executives, senior vice presidents that I coach on leadership. And bottom line, typically when someone leaves, it's the manager, right? And that was the last straw for me. And I also wanted to coach my clients and have their programs be customized, really work with them and work with what's stopping them, what's getting them not to finish, and really work one-on-one, more hours in a month too, and customize their roadmaps, customize their business plans. And I'll tell you a funny, it's not a funny story. I'm coaching, I was in a workshop with a group of realtors. I want to say there was about 8 realtors in a workshop I was holding, and I asked for a raise of hands who has a business plan for 2026. And this was about a month ago. And nobody raised their hand. And maybe some were shy. However, nobody raised their hands to owning that they had a business plan. And we don't learn that in real estate school, right? I didn't when I was a realtor for 20 years, very successful. And my success, two things needed to happen. One, I needed a business plan and I needed to be all in, right? And in the beginning, I wasn't all in. So that's part of my conversation today too, is my clients who are all in versus the clients I see maybe who aren't all in yet, the difference in how fast or how successful their business grows or how they change and become more calm, more confident, less chaotic with their business. And that's having a plan and then working with me to customize their tactics and their action steps so that they actually do it. In fact, I was coaching a corporate client this morning at 7 a.m. in Canada, and he said, I never miss running, and it's a habit that I do. And I said, well, what makes that happen? What do you do so that you never miss? There goes my phone. That you never miss running. He says, I design it the way that works for me and when it's fun and how long. And I don't, follow a plan what that someone else is doing. It has to work for me. I have to be able to go out the door and run for 45 minutes and come back. And again, I'm not going to go through all the details, but that's the key. That's the nail on the head, is that I want you guys to customize your business plans and have the action steps be so that you want to do them. And there's not everything what we want to do. Believe me, did I want to go live this morning? Not really. And it's not so bad. Do we want to always have a client party, or do we always want to go networking, or do we want to always do some of the things that we know we need to do? Like, I got to post on Instagram today. No, we don't always want to do those things. However, the folks that I coach and the ones that I watch, my colleagues, my coach colleagues, Those of us who are all in are the ones that are making it happen. And so I'm proud of myself. 4 years in, I have a successful coaching company. I still want to grow. Um, I started this when I was about 58. So again, super comfortable. I sat in the parking lot after my last day going, what the heck did I choose? Right? I'm leaving 2 paychecks a month. I have a 401k. My health insurance is paid for. Like, did I just have a brain fart? What happened? So yes, getting out of our comfort zones, doing something scary. And I don't have another income coming in. I don't have a significant other helping with an income. I live alone. And I'm like, oh, this is all on me. So yes, I hired a coach. And the rest is maybe not history. It's a part of my history. There's still going to be a lot of stuff going forward. So let's talk about being all in. I need to breathe. Being all in, what does that look like? So here's another example. Again, I'm in that workshop. About 8 realtors are in the workshop, and I asked them, how many hours a week are you working on growing your business? Activities that are actually going to grow your business, right? And sure, if you want to build a website, that's fine. Yes, I want you to have a Facebook page or an Instagram page. And yes, that all counts. However, what are you doing? How are you meeting people, adding people to your sphere? How are we networking? Are we, being mentored if you're new? Like, what are you doing to work on your business? How many hours a week? So that was the question. How many hours a week are you working on your business? And again, not a lot of answers other than I don't know. Or I'm like, okay, let's dig deeper. Just take a minute. Look at this week. What do you have planned? What have you done so far? How many hours are you working? And I typically got 1 hour, 2 hours. And so we talked about it, and we talked about the activity and being all in. Now, I know some people have other jobs besides real estate, and that's okay to have that as you're growing your business. At some point, we do need to cut the cord, burn your ships at some point. However, I'm not telling you to do it today. And we got to be all in. Like, we've got to be working. If you were in a corporate job, what do you work? 40 hours a week? If you're working for Google, maybe you're working 60 hours a week. What are you doing? Right? What are you actually doing to work on your business to be all in? I know that I was working a 40-hour week. When I started my own coaching company, I know I was marketing, I was taking classes, I was listening to podcasts, I joined a BNI. I was like, what am I going to do to grow my coaching company? And I worked every single day, and I still do. Maybe not 40 hours a week anymore. I'm coaching, right? So I probably have about 30 hours, 20 hours a week of coaching. However, I would say I easily work 10 hours a week on growing my business. And so what are you doing as a business owner? How many hours a week are you working? Are you all in? Do you go networking and then sit in the corner? Oh my gosh. I know in the beginning when this was like 2006, 2005 when I'm, doing open houses as a new realtor in Florida. And I would sit in the back and read a book. Come on in, look at the house. It's okay. Come on in. Let me know what you think. And then again, I hire a coach who's like, what the F are you thinking? This is not how you do open houses. And that wasn't being all in, right? And so then I'm doing open houses and I'm gathering information, establishing relationships, building trust as fast as I can, making sure I have a follow-up system after an open house, right? So my clients, I want them to have a follow-up system, not for open houses, for networking. It's not a one and done. Right. So what is our follow-up system? So being all in is having plans, having checklists. And most of my clients are all in. I am so proud of them. So if you're not all in or you don't know what that looks like, let me know. We can have a half-hour complimentary coach session, chat session, clarity session. Nope, I promise no sales. Unless you ask, I will not bring up sales, what I offer, what I charge. If you want to ask me that question, absolutely, I will answer it. However, I do not want to turn this into a pushy sales call or even a non-pushy sales call. I want to authentically help you start with a strong foundation on how to grow your business. And what does that look like to be all in? Because it is important. And again, when I was starting my coaching company, I was marketing, taking tons of marketing classes because I didn't know how to market. That's not my strength. I have built other businesses in the past. My very, very, very first business was flipping sailboats, and so I lived on a sailboat, sailed around the Caribbean, the Bahamas, up and down the Intercoastal Waterway quite a few times. I want to say 4 times I went up and down the Intercoastal Waterway. I wrote for Cruising World magazine, and the first time I sent them an article, they said, "Oh, you're a terrible writer." Right? We love your story. We love what you're doing. However, your writing sucks. And I maybe didn't say it quite that way, but pretty much. So I took a class, and back then, again, I'm aging myself because I was 19. They had correspondence courses. There wasn't online yet. So I took a correspondence course, submitted a new article, and they bought it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just made money. So wrote for Cruising World magazine. However, my boyfriend at the time was, we would buy the boat, right? We fix it up, sell it, buy a bigger boat, fix it up, sell it. So flipping sailboats was my first job. And then he was a pilot. So we were in Maine at the time, and he needed to, fly. He wants to stay current. So he rented a plane. I kind of hung out in the lobby in a small FBO in Oxford, Maine. And he landed, and we're hanging out, and we can hear in the background the manager of the airport fighting with the county commissioner, county official, a county owned airport. And he quit. He says, I'm done. I quit. I'm out of here. He stormed out. And it was just my ex and I and the county person standing in the airport. And we both at the same time said, we'll run your airport. And we did. I mean, obviously, it wasn't that easy. We had to go through an interview process and all of that. However, I started a flight school. I got my pilot's license, got my commercial license, got licensed to teach the ground school. My ex ran the maintenance department and then started painting airplanes. And we had a very successful FBO and one of the most successful flight schools in Maine. And again, I'm super proud of having done that. We divorce, he keeps the airport, and then I move on to be a corporate trainer for Jenny Craig. So there you go. Very diverse background. And then real estate came after that. So owning businesses and running them from the beginning and then to the end is a superpower of mine, and where I want my clients to know that I've got their back, that I sincerely care about their growth, that I sincerely care about how they customize what they do so that they do it and have fun. I'm not promising everything's fun. However, we got to like what we do, right? If you think about it, someday you're going to be 108. And so I want you to talk to your 108-year-old self. And is this what I want to be doing? And is this how I want to be doing it? And is it in alignment with my values? And that's a whole nother live session about values. And I do. I want you guys living in alignment with your values. And I care sincerely about your confidence, your calm, how you feel. Are you a badass businessman, a badass businesswoman? That's where I want you to be. So, okay, we went live. I do want to do a shout out though. I listened to a podcast this morning, and again, that's probably how I got inspired about being all in because I love the guy's story. So the podcast is um Real Estate Unfiltered. Real Estate Unfiltered podcast was great. I'm sure I'm not doing the title justice right now. Sorry, a little nervous. And then another podcast, it's a client of mine, and one of the most phenomenal clients who has had such phenomenal growth year after year after year. Ryan Hamilton has a podcast, Houses and Spouses. So a huge shout out to Houses and Spouses, and thank you to the Real Estate Unfiltered podcast for inspiring me to go live because it's been a long time, and being there for real estate agents. So thank you. All right, everybody. Any questions about real estate coaching, business coaching? I'm here to help. And yay. It's been okay being